let's start with your story, Jordan. Why tech? Like when you are, how old are you again?
I'm 28.
28. How much money are you making right now? Ballpark. Don't give us an exact number. Just ballpark. What's your ballpark?
Around like 70 a year.
You're 28 years old making near. I want to ask this question. How many of y'all are 28 years old making $70,000? I was 28 making about, I was 28. Nah, I was 28 making a little bit more. 28, I was making about 32. Yeah, because I was a youth pastor. Lord Jesus. Ryan, they weren't paying us money back then. They still not paying youth pastors a lot. That's, I loved my young people, but boy, that check was hard. I'd be like, what am I doing? But Jordan, you're 28 making $70,000, and you just graduated the program, 2 years ago, I think?
Yeah, about 2 years ago now.
Real quick, what were you making before you got into the program?
I believe like around 15 to 20K a year was what I was making.
You were 25 years old making about $15,000 to $20,000 a year?
Yep, I was only doing house cleaning that helped like pay the bare minimum of our lifestyle, me and my daughter. So it wasn't, I wasn't renting a house. I didn't really have like a high, I guess like expense, but it was just the bare minimum that I was making.
Wow. How old is your daughter now?
She's 7.
She's 7. So you was making, so were you living with family at the time, or were you sacrificing and just figuring things out?
Yeah, I was sacrificing a lot. Honestly, I was trying to figure out what I was doing. I found myself in a position of being a single parent overnight, having to think on my feet. I felt called to actually go to the School of Ministry in Redding, California. And from there, it was me renting a room out from different students and different people sharing a house. So me and my daughter pretty much shared a room the past 4 years.
Wow. And I love your heart, because it said that you went into School of Ministry, and I love that. So let's talk about this. What made you look into the tech field? I'm curious.
Well, Bethel Tech actually launched when I was in first year, which is pretty cool. So I got to see a lot of, Ryan coming in and sharing what tech is and explaining it to us and kind of feeling the momentum behind the program. But I didn't really understand how it could work for me or if I can do that. I have always been a little tech savvy, but not enough to figure out code something. I just always felt that was way over my head. And then it was about the summer of my second year when I was ready to move to Austin for finish my third year of school, where I just had this, I guess, God moment of how do I want to fund what I feel the Lord is calling me to do? Do I want to work at like Walmart to get the bills paid, or do I want to actually make a lucrative income to fund those ideas and those things that the Lord was like putting into my life? So I ended up calling and reaching out to Bethel Tech, and I think I seen this this interview that Ryan did on CBN, I believe it was that summer. And it just it just became real to me. So before, while I was in, first and second year of, the School of Ministry, was just this lofty, like, oh, okay, that's cool, but I'm already in school. I'm already applying myself here in ministry. I don't think I could even have time for that or desire for that. It just didn't really compute for me. So then it was right when I was launching and I watched that interview, and it just became real of like, oh my gosh, this is possible. This is not only something that I can, step into, but something that can launch me into the next, season of my life. So I had an amazing call. I reached out to the administration team or the admin team, and it was so cool to kind of hear like what's possible. They were so filled with hope, and so I thought they were going to turn me down because I didn't have whatever requirements I thought in my head that I needed to do the program. But it was like, oh my gosh, you're actually the perfect candidate. Let's get you in here. So that's kind of how my journey started with Bethel Tech.
Wow. I'm sitting here just amazed to hear where you started, to hear how you got connected to tech and then into Bethel Tech. Because I think a lot of people are like you, like, man, this sounds very, what's the proper word, like nerdy or very stressful. You gotta look at all these codes, look at all these numbers, look at all these words. But you say, you know what, hey, I want better. I want more for me, for my daughter, and I could do it. I'm curious, Jordan, before we get into more of your story, someone watching right now saying, yo, I'm interested in the tech field, but I'm a little nervous because of all these coding. What would you tell your friend who's saying, yo, I'm a little nervous, girl, girl, like you making good money, but I don't know if I can do what you doing? Girl, I can barely read right now. I get tired from reading. What would you tell your girlfriend who's watching right now? How would you encourage her and say, you know what, do it, try it? Do you feel your confidence got stronger when you got connected with Bethel Tech? And when I say Bethel Tech, while I've partnered with Bethel Tech, I'm saying this: when you got the education, Bethel Tech is the best place to get the education. But think about it just from the education point. When you got into the school, into the program, did it build your confidence anymore?
100%. I think the community and how Bethel Tech like walks beside you. So I didn't feel like I was alone trying to learn all of the new material. I really felt supported by my instructors, by my tutors. It really made time for me to kind of help me grasp what I was being taught. But I really felt so like I felt really proud of myself of like, oh my gosh, something that I thought I can never do. Now I'm actually stepping into it and running with it. So I would just say for anyone who's even slightly interested to go for it, because it's so much more accessible than we even realize. And so I think actually going through the program, going through all the classes, it just became, I felt this, oh wow, I'm actually a part of the tech community and really this is amazing. So it was great.
That's awesome. Ryan, I'm curious, man. You run the whole program over there, and you've been in from the very beginning. And I can't reveal other stuff that you all have coming, but you all are really about to take over this whole Christian educational space. I'm pretty sure oftentimes you're meeting people, young people, older people, because y'all watch. This program is not just for 20-something, 30-somethings. They have 60-something, 70-somethings in this program who want to shift and make more money. But Ryan, like me, I'm gonna be honest with you. I will be scared of the tech field because of all these coding and stuff. As the president of this program, what would you say to someone watching right now saying, yo, I really want to try it, but I don't know if I could do it because I don't think I can do all the coding and do all that type of stuff. What would you say to those individuals?
Yeah, I would say, first of all, the world needs you. It needs your brilliance and your creativity. Like, tech influences every part of our society. It touches every part of our lives. What we're doing right now is because of technology. And it would be a shame if we didn't get the full you to bring to the world. And so our entire program is designed for people who have little to no tech background. In as little as 9 months, we take you from scratch, learning the fundamentals of web development and coding structures, to getting you, by the end, you have this really incredible project that you worked on together with a team that you can put in front of employers. If you'll just stick with it, if you'll just do it for 9 months, 3 to 6 months later, you could go from making minimum wage to making $70,000 like Jordan. And let me just say something, Anthony, real quick about Jordan. Our team fell in love with her from the get-go because she's brilliant, of course. She's wonderful. She's resourceful. She's determined. She's curious, and she's resilient. And she has a heart for the Lord. And she listens to what he says to her, and she goes and does it. So even if this might have felt out of her lane, so to speak, because she didn't have a tech background, if God is telling you to do something, you can have the confidence that he is going to fulfill anything that he tells you to do and what he has on your life. So she said yes. She had a surrendered heart, and she went after it, man. And our team just loves Jordan. So when you and I, first started talking about, hey, let's get some people on the show, like, Jordan immediately popped in my head. And and it's just we care so deeply about our students. We're not going to just throw a bunch of information at you. We're going to walk you through this so you can have confidence going into the marketplace that you are going to be a massive asset to whoever employs you.
Yeah, when I first met Jordan too, when we logged on, because we use Riverside, so before the show, y'all, we get on Riverside, do some sound check, and I was like, Jordan is the truth. Her spirit is so great. You could tell that she loves people, loves her job, and you have such a calm spirit, calm. To be 28, you look young, but you carry yourself very, very, very mature. And I was like, yeah, she's about 35, 36, the way she's carrying herself. I was like, but she looked like she's like 25. But I'm like, when you talk, when you articulate, like, man, I see you are definitely Bethel Tech worthy.
Oh, thank you.
and just kingdom worthy, and
Thank you. I appreciate
that is
that.
just amazing. So Jordan, you finished the program 2 years ago. All right.
Hmm.
What were you doing through the program? Because you're a single mom,
Hmm.
and you have a lot of single moms watching us right now saying, okay, wait, can I do this while I work another job and while being a single mother? Like, is it stressful? Is it hard? Is it easy? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it was definitely stressful going through it just because at the time I didn't plan it this way, but it just so happened that I started my first 9 months of Bethel Tech as I was finishing my third year of ministry school. So that meant that me and my daughter actually picked up and moved to Austin, Texas, and I have never visited there before. I pretty much like found an apartment with a roommate online, and I actually met Ryan the first day of my third year experience, which was really cool. He found out that I was a Bethel Tech student, and they ended up blessing me. I needed a small amount of money, which felt like a huge amount of money at the time, to get started at the program. And Ryan and the team totally blessed me with that tuition money so I can get started. So I ended up working at Starbucks opening shifts. This is so crazy to think about. And then my daughter would be watched by my roommate. So I would say like community is so huge. So if it wasn't for the Lord actually calling me to Austin and facilitating community and everything I needed, like this job, this totally worked with my hours. I was able to open at Starbucks. I'd be done around 10:30, right as the time, my daughter was waking up in the morning. And then I had the entire evening and night to just focus on Bethel Tech. So I think everything I needed, he facilitated. So yes, it was stressful, but I think the huge payoff, part of it was being to live this, amazing life, have this amazing career that now is facilitating so many things for my daughter and for myself that I could have never thought of. So I think, yes, it was stressful. And I think that's the reality of just juggling a lot of things as a single mom. But I think knowing the grace that you have to move forward. There was many times where I felt like, oh man, like maybe I can't do this, or maybe I'm, so tired. I'm not one of those people that runs off of like 2 hours of sleep. But I think just being able to be flexible of like, man, this is only temporary. This is only 9 months. And what was cool is that the Bethel Tech program actually lasted about the same time as my third year. So they both kind of finished at the same time, which was really great. But it was through my third year that I met so many software developers because there's actually a church that Bethel started in Austin called Bethel Austin. And a lot of the people that I met there were software developers. A lot of the people that I did my internship with had a lifelong career of, coming out of technology. That was actually real examples for me to grasp on that I didn't actually have before moving to Austin. So long story short, I think a lot of the things that I needed for that season just were available to me because of the yes of the Lord over that part of my life.